Hi, this is Anne,
And Dominic.
and this is our series of the next chapter.
I don't know if we're going to start with our series, but we'll let that slide because half the fun of us doing this is going to be learning from our mistakes. So, this is our first attempt at a podcast. So, we're going to just have fun and talk about some of the things that we've been doing lately. Anne?
So, just a little bit of background. Dom and I have been married for over 25 years, and we have 3 children that are now graduated and adulting.
So, that would be 3 adult children.
Yeah, that's true. So, now we're trying to figure out our next chapter and kind of bring you along our journey on the things that we have been doing to figure out life during this next chapter.
So, what are some of the chapter things that you think have come next, Anne?
I think we've been trying new things.
Like what? What's one new thing that we've tried lately? We went and experienced married couple yoga for the first time.
Yes, yoga. Oh yeah, and by the way, we have 4 dogs that were in our home. So technically, that's okay. That's part of our next chapter, having dogs. We have, 10 heartbeats in our home right now. So it's been a little bit hectic. But anyways, yes, we tried yoga for the first time. Something that I've been wanting to do as a family for many years, but I couldn't get anybody to jump on the bandwagon with me until very recently. So, how was your experience, Dom?
My experience was difficult. I prided myself growing up as an athlete. I coached football, wrestling, and baseball. I have recently gotten into road biking and golfing, and I do an excessive amount of stretching. And I went to attempt yoga and realized that when you're doing something you're not used to doing, it's a struggle. But I also am embracing the ability to be uncomfortable, and that's a good thing.
Yes, and I've been a pretty active person my whole life, working out, hiking, cycling, all those different things. So yoga hasn't been one of my strengths. So I thought that why not tackle it with somebody as we figure out like how to be more flexible and nimble now as we get older, and really be cognizant of our body and the ability of what our body can and cannot do. So we've been reading a lot and learning a lot from others about the importance of yoga and flexibility. But what I loved about it was just having fun and sweating with someone next to me, and watching our struggles together and kind of like being a cheerleader for each other.
Yeah, and the focus now, not even so much about being in the best shape, it's more about functional. And getting prepared for that next phase in life where you want to be able to be a functional grandparent, functional human being. And so it makes it, it's an opportunity to grow. And like I said before, being uncomfortable, we get so consistent doing the same things over and over again. And there's a lot to be said for routine. I'm big on routines, but there's even more to be said for putting yourself in uncomfortable places, because when you're uncomfortable, you're learning. And when you're uncomfortable, you're growing. And when you stop learning and stop growing, you stop becoming better. You become stagnant. And that's what we want to avoid. Kind of like our marriage. That's why we started doing all this stuff, so that we could be uncomfortable doing things that maybe one of us isn't comfortable with.
No,
right?
that's true. But you got me on grandkids. I don't think either of us are ready for that, even though it would be uncomfortable. I'm not ready for that. So we're going to pause that for
No.
the next 5 years.
Not that I'm not ready to be a grandfather. My children aren't ready to be parents. There's a big difference. My ability to be a grandfather is 100. My ability to believe that my kids are ready to be parents, maybe not so much. So there's growth to be had there. So yes, yoga is amazing. We've done 2 classes now. We're going to look forward to doing our 3rd and ongoing. What's something else? Didn't we just take a trip recently?
Yeah, spontaneity is like really big to help with keeping our marriage ongoing and us happy and finding new things that we again, can learn about. So we took a trip to the Central Coast. So Morro Bay, Pismo Beach,
Avila Beach.
Avila Beach, places that we've been, like
Some that we've been.
we've been many times, but like singularly, like on different different situations, but we haven't like grouped in together. And we really surprised ourselves because we both went out, headed to the Central Coast. It took us about 4 hours, and in 24 hours, we were able to see 3 beachfronts, 3 different piers, visit a couple of different farmers market, eat really good food on like a great budget, right? So,
And we're challenged, and that's the other point to all of this is everything's not going to be roses and unicorns. And sometimes there's going to be struggle. And, we have conversations when we're learning to be a couple again and not have 100 million things going on in between. So you're going to have peaks and valleys, and you're going to have times when you're going to struggle and you're not going to get along. And it's being able to weather those storms and get through them so that you can see the sunrise on the horizon. When we got up the next day and went to Morro Bay and discovered this big, beautiful place that we'd never really been to together, and we're able to experience it and enjoy it being there together, which was cool.
yeah. We have been together. We brought our kids there for many years. We used
Not
to
to Morro Bay.
Oh, not to Morro Bay, yeah. But
That's why I said Morro
Pismo
Bay.
Beach and Pismo, it was a tradition of our family to go either on Mother's Day or Father's Day.
That's why I said Morro Bay.
Okay. I didn't catch that. But yes, Morro Bay, we've driven and seen it, the big old like rock, but we actually haven't gone out, done the walk, and appreciated everything that was around it. And we saw people fishing and cutting up fish, seals, and just they look like vultures or something. They were humongous birds. I think.
And to clarify, they weren't cutting up seals. We saw seals, and they were fishermen cutting up fish, because
Like I said, they
that didn't
fish.
sound that way.
Oh, and then these huge, like people were saying they were like T-Rexes or something, that were like, trying to find food. But there were masses of it. It was just
So again, a little correction. They looked like pterodactyls, not a T-Rex. So, so sometimes vocabulary and education is a little questionable in this house.
No,
So my darling wife is a very educated, smart, intelligent, beautiful
Go
person.
Aggies. Yes, go Aggies.
But sometimes the non-college educated part of the equation tends to be a little bit more street smart. So there's another learning lesson for all those that end up taking a risk and listening to this podcast. Kind of half of our purpose is trying to just share our story about things that we've done and experiences that we've had and how maybe we can help somebody else grow, and then to kind of share our adventures of going into this next chapter of our lives, growing in these businesses that we're in now, eventually opening up some of our own businesses, taking on more of an entrepreneurial spirit, and growing as a couple of grown children, of adult children, going into their next phase of life, which looks like it might be exciting.
Yeah. The other thing too, in this new chapter, you think about your parents, and we actually have my mom, through the passing of my stepfather, has now moved in. So as I mentioned, these 10 heartbeats, that's including my mom and her dog. So 6 heartbeats in the home with 4 dogs. You can imagine it being very chaotic, but it's been quite harmonious, and better than I expected, knowing the type of personalities we have, and we're sort of stuck in our ways. We've been able to figure it out through this like whole transition, which has actually been really cool.
Really different.
Mm-hmm.
Really new and exciting. So this is episode 1 of what hopes to be a lot more episodes, a lot more growth, a lot more information to come. Until then, Dominic signing out.
And signing out.
Peace.
Peace.